Hello, everybody, and welcome to After the Game, live from Yogi's, of course, with Todd Leary, as we are here from Yogi's here in Bloomington, of course, Indiana. Out a very, very important win tonight, Todd. That game was back and forth. They go to overtime with Penn State, but we did see some positive things. Very surprising for some of the performances for this game to be as close as it was, but. A lot of things to unpack here. Guard play comes around, I guess, but there's just a lot of things to pick up out of this game tonight.
Yeah, there is. And I'll tell you, a ton of positive things that, I'm surprised at the score as well. Indiana went through that period where they got the 12-point lead with about 10 minutes to go. And at that point, the first thing that went through my mind was if there's 17,000 people in the building, I don't think Penn State stands a chance. I think it just, the noise level is just out of control, and that's one of the first times it's really dawned on me during the game where I thought to myself, if they make a comeback, I'm going to bring up the fact that the crowd wasn't there, because I don't think that it's possible in that environment if it's the usual Assembly Hall crowd.
It's funny you mentioned. I didn't even think about. Had not even considered that. But being there, it was whoever could create their own magic,
Sure.
and they were going back and forth doing that. But you're right, if this was a normal home crowd, that would have not allowed Penn State to do that. It would have been nothing but Indiana, and it did. Man, you saw exactly, because every time Indiana made a run, Penn State would come right back and make their own run every time. It was just a battle, a dogfight.
After that technical in the first half, when Indiana went up 29-20, I kind of thought at that point, all right, well, here's where they're going to take control. And then immediately 2 3-point plays right back for Penn State, and it's a 3-point game again. And it just – you're right. Like every time there was an opportunity for Indiana to just kind of take control of the game, Penn State made some good plays. But that's what teams that have good guards, which is definitely what, Penn State is. They're a guard-heavy, guard-driven team. That's what they do. I mean, they are able to make those plays and make those runs. And this was a game. I was supremely impressed with how Indiana, I thought, was able to come back, and I thought the guard play was not just the guards, but I even thought Trace Jackson Davis was more aggressive. I thought Race Thompson was more aggressive, but definitely Finney and Trey Galloway and Armand Franklin and Al Durham. We're going to talk about how well they played while they were making shots, while they were knocking down shots. And quite honestly, that's the difference between, I think, playing well and not being perfectly honest.
Got a couple special guests on here. Brittany Lyons just popped on. But Chris Martin is here with us. Chris Martin, the general manager for all of the Finney Hospitality Group, and we appreciate the Finney Hospitality Group. As always, we talk about them, whether it's you're talking about the Tap or the Tap on Mass Ave, Smokeworks, Social Cantina, and, of course, here at Yogi's. Chris, thanks a lot for always having us, man. We appreciate you so much.
We love having you guys, and shout out to Todd, who's not here, and Brian. I got a gift for you too to get you the next time I see you. So welcome. Glad you guys are here tonight.
Well, if I would have known you would have been there tonight, I would have driven straight to there. But Willie had a game tonight, and I drove back home after the game.
Brian with us. I don't see Joe. Is Joe not with us this time?
He's at the Graduate. He's down in Bloomington, and
wow, he's down the street.
He tried to come in via satellite, and I told him, no.
Wasn't happening. Well, welcome back and welcome into After the Game, of course, Todd Leary. After the Game with Todd Leary, Brian Evans, special guest here, Chris Martin as well. I'm Jim Coyle. Started off this game, guys. Indiana was really aggressive. They seemed like they were looking to score early in the shot clock, and it wasn't just Trace Jackson Davis, although they were very successful in the paint. There was a lot of people scoring. I think 5 guys scored right off the bat, and the distribution was good, and that lasted for about 8 minutes. And then Penn State made an adjustment. I think they went to a zone, and things kind of went to crap for Indiana.
Brian, I'll let you take that for a minute.
That's funny, because I already told Todd that I'm going to play zone against Indiana every possession of every game the entire season until I don't win. So I don't understand. I'm not a good coach, and I don't understand Big Ten basketball. Penn State coach, he's got about as many miles under his belt as me. I don't know why he's not playing zone. I'm playing zone the whole game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and you know, for the first 5 minutes of the zone, the way Indiana handled it and turned it over, just trying to lob passes in and just being careless with the basketball, I think we would have seen zone for the rest of the game. But then, you know, kind of, I don't want to say all of a sudden, but then I think they just kind of got their legs underneath them and kind of figured it out a little bit. And Trace Jackson Davis and Race Thompson started touching the ball at the free throw line, and it just collapsed the whole thing. And then, you know, Brian, I'm with you from the standpoint of after Al made a few three-pointers, it almost seemed like, well, he gave up on the strategy of the zone anymore. And I'm from the standpoint of, you know, if I'm playing against Indiana, they're going to have to prove to me for 40 minutes that they can make those shots. And I say that like I'm being negative on Indiana. Today they made the plays, they made the shots, and that's what they're going to have to continue to do. But if I'm the coach on the other bench, I'm going to make them prove it for the whole game. I'm never going to allow Trace Jackson Davis to get back involved in the game. And I thought coming back out of the zone, that's what Indiana did.
The guard play, veteran guards, one of the questions we've talked about all year long is when are these veteran guards going to show up? Al Durham and Rob Finney. Rob Finney kind of lost his starting position tonight. He comes up big, hits a big shot. He gets in double figures. Al Durham, I don't know, he ended up with 18 points. I'm not looking at the stats right now, but he had another good night as well. They're getting points from all around, but especially from their guards that we haven't seen much of here this season.
Yeah, I mean, 5 guys in double figures. That's the first time that's happened this season. And when you look at the way they scored them, you know, that it's a lot. It's impressive to be able to come out because it's not like they've kind of gradually got better, gotten into this position. Al Durham's not played well. Rob Finney's not played well. That's pretty well documented by the coaching staff, putting Finney on the bench. And you know, really the only consistent offensive scorer has been Armand Franklin. And so to have these other guys step up and kind of do it all at once and all in the same game, when you're playing a team like Penn State, I know it's just Penn State, and they're not one of the ranked opponents in the Big Ten, but they're still a formidable team that has got guards that can make shots. And when they're making shots like they did tonight, I think they made 12 three-pointers on the night, it's going to be difficult to beat a team that makes 12 three-pointers in the Big Ten. And so the guard play I thought was huge. I mean, I get on them when they're bad. And I think they were the difference in the game tonight.
Absolutely. Trace Jackson Davis, of course, the leading scorer for Indiana. But Indiana was really, really successful in the paint, like I said early on. A lot of their points were coming inside. And it wasn't just
it was
Trey
crazy.
Jackson. It was Trey Galloway. I mean, everybody was driving and getting in. Trey Galloway also, he was looking to score a little bit more early
Way
on.
more.
Then he kind of looked to pass more, it seemed.
Yeah, points in the paint, you're right, Jim. Points in the paint was 50-28. So that's monumental in taking over this basketball game. But that's Indiana's strength. I mean, you're going to look at more three-pointers made from Penn State because that's their strength and that's what they do. But, you know, to your point on Trey Galloway, I mean, you can't expect him all of a sudden to go from hardly looking at the basket at all to, you know, every time he's looking at the basket. I thought he was much more aggressive. If he can build on tonight a little bit and do a little bit more in the next game against Maryland, then that's all we can really ask for out of a freshman. But I thought he was much more aggressive offensively tonight.
Brian, with all that happening in the paint, Race Thompson, on the other hand, only gets off 4 shots. He hits 2 of them. He gets 7 points, 6 rebounds. Indiana gets out-rebounded tonight. Last I looked, they were getting
badly.
Yeah. It was 34-22 last time I checked. I don't see.
34-26. 34-26.
Yeah. And this team just seemed like they were hustling more. They're not bigger. They're not stronger. They just wanted it more, I guess. Brian, you saw the paint. What was going on in the paint there?
Why did we get out rebounded? That's the question.
I don't know. I'm looking at stats right now.
I know. When you look at a team like Penn State, you're never going to expect to get out rebounded, especially in Assembly Hall, by that team. But if you also look at the perspective of their guards are pretty good rebounders and they're pretty athletic and they shoot a lot of long shots that come up with a lot of offensive rebounds. You know, that's kind of where they dug some of the big long rebounds. They got a bunch of second chance opportunities tonight, unfortunately.
Let's see. Here's
So
a question there.
You guys are like media moguls. You get stats immediately. I have to go look for them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I got
People
right.
send them to you.
Or do you use an AL? Don't use AL.
Whoa. People don't send them anywhere. We do our own investigation here, our own research.
Hey,
So-
question popped up on there. Not Tom, not an expert on the pack line, but is it necessary for the center to be so far away from the rim, chasing not great center to the 3-point line for rim protection? Probably a little facetious there, but this we've heard so much about the pack line defense 4 years ago, and they struggled to get it. But I'm not. Are they really running it all the time? Because it doesn't always seem like that.
But I mean, his question is, and Tom, your question is not really in regards to the pack line defense, because if you leave Trace Jackson Davis in the middle of the lane and say, hey, that guy is not a 3-point threat, there's no reason to go out there and guard him. He's going to set ball screens, and guys are going to have wide open lanes to the basket all day long. You're going to create foul trouble, easy jump shot opportunities from 15 feet. The center has to go out there and guard it. I shouldn't say the center. I guess you could switch whoever's going to guard that guy if he's going to go out there and set screens outside. It doesn't need to be Trace Jackson Davis that guards him. But from the perspective of just saying that guy can't shoot 3-pointers, so why would we go out there and guard him? You have to guard that ball screen. If you're not hedging on those ball screens, they're going to kill you all day.
And the thing is, this loss comes on a night where Indiana shot the ball pretty daggone
As well as they have all year.
57% from the field. I mean, you shoot 57% from the field and you get beat.
And 80
At
and
home.
80 and 81% from the free throw line. So
Which is something
and they didn't get beat. So let's pump the brakes
Right.
on it. They
Right,
pulled
right.
it out. They made the plays they had to make. But you're right. I mean, we're one shot away from, we're that foul call that Robbie Hummel can't get over in the game away from them making free throws and winning this game, and us talking completely different about where Indiana is right now if there's 1 point difference in regulation.
Jerome Hunter, another we didn't see a lot from him tonight. Got a lot of production from a lot of different people. He wasn't one of those. What did he end up with? 4 points, 2 of 4 shooting again, 0 of 2 from behind the line. But he brings in some minutes. He got in and scored on the inside. His scoring came on inside as well. So Indiana was just looking to take advantage of that paint, but yet they get out rebounded. So it's kind of a weird situation to where you're dominant scoring wise, but you're getting out rebounded.
And you're not bringing Jerome Hunter into rebound. So that's not, I mean, we would hope we could at 6'7" or 8, but I mean, that's really not his thing. But when he came in, the couple baskets that he got, I know he was 0 for 2 from 3, but the basket he got in the lane when he bullied the guy, that's a basket we need out of Jerome Hunter. And that's a play that we need out of him.
Brian, 15 assists on 32 made baskets. Is that where you want to be? Is the distribution looking good?
You're asking a guy who never passed the ball. Like, why would you ask him that?
Hey, just do me a huge favor, and then look at the career assist leaders at Indiana. I'm pretty sure that
not Todd Leary.
Todd Leary.
There's probably but that's based on minutes. That's only based on the number of minutes
It's
played.
based on production, pal.
That's true.
So
Very
if you
factual.
Just go look at it.
Factual.
Then you'll see. I don't know the answer to that because, games like this, you just got to dig. You got to dig your heels in. We have to win this game. Todd, you know this. There's a million games that you play that it doesn't really matter what the stat sheet says. Like tonight was a night, you better win. If you can't win tonight, we talked the last time we talked, if you can't win tonight, huge trouble. So it would have been great if tonight wasn't a nail biter. It kind of was. Fine. We won. And now you got to beat Maryland. And then if you beat Maryland, I think as a community, we can start going, hey, we beat Maryland and Penn State, and we're not dead. We have a chance to be good, but you got to win the next game too. And I think our guys can do it. You know what? My thing is, I don't think this is going to be pretty. I don't think this is going to be a team that there's no glamour. We're not going to go on like a 10-game winning streak. I just don't see that happening for this team. But I do think that this team can get gritty and get tough and grind out some wins. I do. I like that maybe there's a toughness to them. I think Archie can get these guys to maybe grind out, 3 or 4 games in a row. We're going to lose a game, but I think we can come back and win some games. And that's what we're going to have to just accept, that this team is just going to have to grind out wins.
Yeah, something that's funny that you just said, Brian, that I don't think about a lot is as soon as the game's over, as fans and analysts, the first thing we do is go look at the stat sheet. And I can tell you, as a player, like the stat sheet is your worst enemy most of the time. Like we hated the stat sheets because the numbers don't lie, and a lot of times they don't show the fact that I blocked out or that I hedged on a ball screen or that I tipped a ball or did things like that. And the stat sheets, these numbers, if you just look at these numbers and I don't look at Penn State's numbers, I would say Indiana won this game fairly easily. And that's more of, I think, how we need to analyze the actual stat sheet side of it. The scary part, and we used to talk about this in the locker room, obviously when the coaches weren't around, but this game was one free throw, 1 point, one basket away from us not kind of being smiley and talking about some of the good plays that happened, but talking about what trouble this whole team is in and the coaching staff is in and what are we going to do now? And we're looking at next year already and where are our recruits? I mean, we were 1 point away from being in that scenario. And that's kind of the scary part of it.
Let me jump in and say that, what's the positive side. I'm sitting here, the press conference is on and Finney and Durham are talking, but I think that there's a useful exercise in that too, though, like a close game like this where these guys can really digest the fact that a missed free throw costs the game. Like you're that close to losing this game. If you miss an extra free throw, 2 in a row, you lose this game. And I think these guys are young guys, but they care. They care about the team. This is a good group of guys. These aren't a bunch of thugs that don't care. They care.
Right.
But if they can understand how close they are to losing a game like this, which could trash the season, and it's a free throw, it's a block out, it's a play here and a play there that could really cost them. It's valuable for this time of the season for a group like this to go, man. Our margin of error is slim, and I played on a couple of teams my last couple of years where it wasn't like when we had Calvert and you and Damon and guys. The margin of error got really, really slim. So we couldn't afford to miss blockouts or just shoot 55% from the line. We're going to lose the game, and I think that can elevate everybody's level of play when you just know that that's not acceptable. You have to play your best when you're a little more average.
Yep.
And point that out about the free throws, Brian. They hit 17 free throws out of 21, and they needed every one of them, as you pointed out. This is a team that not a lot of games ago, if they put up 21 free throws, they're probably going to be lucky to hit 11 of them. But they hit those tonight, and you're right. And you talk about the lessons learned as they go forward. Even though this was a battle for last place in the Big Ten, every team here fourth is going to give them that kind of effort. And I don't know that they expected that. And like you pointed out, Todd, with the fact of not having that home court advantage, that's probably still hard to get used to when you're at home.
Yeah, and I don't know if as much as getting used to is it's just you're not able to feed off of it. Indiana has a great advantage in the home court. Like the fans are great. The how loud it gets in there, it is an advantage. There's no two ways about it. I mean, Penn State. I mean, we've all been to that arena out there. They don't get 3,000 fans there, and it's a huge arena, and it's not loud at all. And so it's a big advantage for Indiana, and it's obviously a disadvantage. We do have to point out here, we appreciate Kelly Martin getting Chris Martin, no relation, involved in the show here a little bit. But the question was, is Yogi's open January 1st, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our restaurants are open January the 1st. We're not staying open late New Year's Eve like normal, but we'll all be open bright and early on the 1st. And then, of course, what everybody should be doing at 12:30 on Saturday is to be at one of the taps or at Yogi's cheering on Tom Allen and that football team. And, that's, I think, from a fan perspective, certainly what's going on in Bloomington. After Saturday, everyone will be a little bit more focused on what's going on in the basketball court. Everybody right now is 100% LEO and Interception University there. Taiwan Mullen, All-American, pretty big deal. And Bloomington can't stop talking about football right now, which might be a good thing for the Hoosiers at the moment.
Yeah.
That's right. Something fun to talk about. Hey, you also, Chris, you talked about wanting to do some things, have some people come in. Make sure you guys come in once we get past the holidays here. After these shows, we're going to give some stuff away. Be all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, one of the great things about having a sports bar, college sports bar like Yogi's, is that we can do a lot of cool things, and can't wait to get a lot more people back in Bloomington and out celebrating and doing a lot of stuff. We're excited about the things coming up. Certainly, as the world starts maybe getting back a little bit more normalcy, and specifically looking at there's a Saturday game. I think it's Saturday, February the 13th, when we head to Ohio State to play. We're going to have a big early party, get the students here early for a little breakfast club, make a little noise, maybe have Brian down and see how many Tito's we can conquer that day. But definitely we're going to pump it up once the students get back, and certainly long way to go. A lot of basketball to be played, and definitely excited about us having the opportunity to get people in here and watch these games and cheer and kind of get back to normal.
Well, we can't thank you enough, and can't thank Nathan Finney and the entire Finney Hospitality Group, man. We appreciate you guys, love so much, and appreciate you. And Todd, he likes to get out here and about, and Brian, of course, the tap on Mass Ave is his spot up there, so we'll have to get him some cards.
You don't know how bad it hurt my feelings to not be in there for mini corn dogs tonight. But
that's exactly what I had before I went to the game. Speaking of that, let's get back to the game. Indiana pulls out an overtime win. They've got to go on now and play a Maryland team. A team that they may be towards the bottom, but man, I saw them play the other night. It doesn't matter who it is. Every game is just fun to watch. And this game was fun to watch, and this was a battle for last place in this league. But Maryland is a team that is shown that they can play with anybody. They've gotten big wins. I'm surprised they're not ranked. They were 6-3, and I think they just got a big win. Who they beat? Purdue?
No, they just beat Wisconsin.
They beat Wisconsin, number 6 Wisconsin. So that shows you again how this league is just topsy-turvy. But that's who Indiana has up next.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't want to give them too much credit because they're not that great. Like, this is a game Indiana should win, and that's a game Wisconsin should have won. And they'll look back on later in the season. If that ends up costing them a Big Ten championship, they'll look at that as a game they should have won. This is a game Indiana should win. Maryland's a team Indiana should beat, especially in Assembly Hall. And so I'm not going to make any excuses for them. I'm not going to turn it around like everything's going to be okay. If we don't win, it's not going to be okay. Had they lost tonight, it's not going to be okay. And these are games you have to win. And so I'm not jumping off the bandwagon right now. We did win, and I'm all for it. You're going to have to win some of these ugly ones, and they did win. But you're not going to make any excuses just because Maryland went and beat Wisconsin. Like, you're going to have to win that game this week.
Brian, beating Penn State the way they did tonight, what does that do for Indiana taking on that Maryland team?
These when you're young like this, I think just jogging off the court with a victory is a big deal.
Yeah.
Whether we won by 5 or 7, in overtime or not in overtime, Todd, I think you just jog off the court, and it's better for the team, for the chemistry. They need to feel that, the thrill of victory.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
And we'll see. I mean, it's a young team, and we'll see how they react. I mean, they needed a victory. There's no doubt about it. But we'll see how they come back. And Maryland, I watched them play. All these I actually think that the Big Ten is there's not a lot of disparity. I really do. From us to Northwestern to Iowa, I think it's pretty lean. I mean, I really do. We're being talked about as being the best conference. But from top to bottom, I just don't see a lot of difference. I think we could beat Minnesota. I think they could beat us. I just think there's just we're all
They're-
pretty good teams. I don't even think it's a normal year. With everything going on and there's no fans, you can't tell me that Assembly Hall is not worth a handful of points. You just can't.
Sure.
So I do believe that. And so when there's nobody there, it flattens things out. The Breslin Center, Todd, come on. That's a hard place to go play.
Yep.
If there's no fans there, I like you and I in the open gym over there this week.
Right.
We go and make some shots. I get hot. You just feed me the ball. We have a chance.
Nobody laughing at us in our too small uniforms.
Just
Hey, man, that's Trey Galloway. He's
Make
looking
sure
like you
you
guys.
get the
I
ball,
think he's wearing one of
just
those pairs.
feed
It
the
looks like out
ball.
there.
Yeah, I mean, Todd just sometimes he gets carried away, like you said last week. He's not sure if he's going to get in trouble for shooting, but in this case, just feed it to me.
Just get it to the scores.
Yeah, we're in the Breslin.
That's my job.
There.
Just figure out who the scorers are. Yeah.
There's no one in the Breslin. I'm good. Just get it to me. We're going to be okay. And so the Big Ten's weird this year. I don't. I think you got to throw all that home court stuff out the window because, like tonight, you can't tell me this was Assembly Hall. You just can't.
That's not.
I think it's worth a handful of points.
Sure.
Really do. And so
it certainly allows teams to bring their own energy. Like I said, it was amazing because I saw Northwestern do the same exact thing.
Yes.
There's nothing to stunt them other than
and your point about the Big Ten just being weird, for lack of a better term for it, is we're still going to have games this season where Michigan State looks like the best team in the Big Ten. And right now they're 0-3. So there's no rhyme or reason for why they're 0-3 right now. But they're still going, with Tom Izzo and with the guys that are on that roster at Michigan State, they're still going to look like one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the Big Ten at some point in time throughout this Big Ten season. It's just a matter of whether they already dug too big a hole. I mean, what would you guess the winning team in the Big Ten is going to have loss-wise? 4 or 5?
6.
Iowa. What's Iowa? They're not going to beat.
You guys are. I'm just being honest. You guys are studying it closer than me. Now that I've become like a daily analyst and I'm on the show, I should probably pay more attention.
Doing
but
some
I'm
research.
I'm not.
You need a research guy.
I do.
Maybe
Joe's
Joe could be a research guy.
Joe's here. He's not here. He's at the Graduate in Bloomington. He's down in he's spending the week
Down the street, man.
I don't. But I agree with you, Todd. Tom Izzo and his team are going to beat people. They're going to go on the road and beat people.
Yep.
They're going to beat people at home. There's just no doubt that they're going to win games, and so it's coming. I couldn't project. I haven't studied it. I can't project how many wins they're going to have, but Michigan State's going to beat people.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by Richard Pitino's team, and I haven't spent a lot of time scouting or watching him, but you know what? I was never a fan of his necessarily. I'm not a fan of his dad necessarily. But I think he's got like a pretty good attitude about freeing guys up and getting guys ready to play and just letting them go play and encouraging guys to just be themselves. And I think there's a chance that team could be, the Big Ten champion. I think they could go on a run and just win.
Wow. Hot take, Minnesota.
That's the Tito's talking.
I've got something for him here. Wherever it went, that's going to be for you.
Hey,
that's from
Tito's out of this, buddy.
That's from Chris Martin for you there, Brian. That hat's going to be for you. It's coming your way. Speaking, last thing we'll talk about the freshman. Of course, Trey Galloway. We won't talk about him, but let's see. We didn't see no Leal. 3 minutes for Lander and 2 for Geronimo. I know this was a game that was so tight, and they seemed to find, I guess, what they were needed with the veteran guards. That those guys didn't get in, but man, there's going to be a lot of these types of Big Ten games. You would think that these guys have got to get some minutes somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we would see more Christian Lander, especially when he came in the ball game and the way that he played. I thought he sped the floor up a little bit, which was a good thing. And honestly, I thought that he would play more. Geronimo's, I think his insertion in the lineup tonight was really just to give somebody a break because the timing of it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. But, it's just it's going to be difficult, I think, to work in bulk minutes unless there's an injury, unless one of the guy Al Durham or Rob Finney or Armand or someone gets injured. I doubt we see the minutes increase that much. I mean, I think they'll increase a little bit, but I don't know if it'll go crazy.
Brian?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting to me that we've talked a lot about at least the times I've been on with you guys, we've been talking about the young guys and their potential, but we also know that when you get into the meat of the Big Ten season, there is something about veterans. There's something about having been there before. Todd and I both know it, and if we were desperate, I think you'd probably start seeing more young guy minutes. I'm interested. Like I'm still trying to understand Archie and his strategy. And
I think a lot of people are.
It's interesting to me that he's playing Galloway. Galloway's the guy. I mean, there's no question of the freshman. Galloway is his guy, and I'm not calling his bluff. I mean, the kid I think has probably the highest basketball IQ of the group. He may not be the most athletic of the group, but he understands how to play basketball, and he fits in. And I'm having fun watching this team. You know what? We could be sit here and be really critical of everything they do and angry that we're not.
That's what I do.
Top 25 team. I'm not. Well, we're not a top 25 team, but at the same time, I'm interested to watch these guys and watch things unfold. Galloway's his guy. I mean, he's the freshman that plays the minutes. He trusts him, and I want to watch this kid develop into a great player. I think he could be this is not a guy you got to worry about leaving early. In my opinion, it's like a old school Indiana player where if he could continue to improve, Indiana fan base is gonna love this kid 4 years from now because he's gonna play and he's gonna do a lot of good things for Indiana basketball.
Yeah, but I'm going to continue to repeat this because until it kind of changes, because I'm afraid of it, and maybe they don't need to be because they're closer to the situation and the coaches know better. But and I have no inside information. I don't know the Lander family from Adam, but if Christian Lander doesn't play more, I don't see him in an Indiana uniform next year, and it's just that simple to me. And up until literally tonight, we've not seen enough production out of Rob Finney or Al Durham to not play Christian Lander 25 minutes in a game. And so tonight, there's an argument against that. Tonight's really the first time I think Archie's been able to say, okay, well, I really couldn't fit him in the lineup. Other than tonight, you could have fit him in the lineup. And I'll live with his mistakes because I think once he gets comfortable, he's going to be the elite player that we all kind of expect him to be. But if they don't start playing him, I could 100% be wrong and not know what I'm talking about. But I'd be surprised if he's in an Indiana uniform if he doesn't start playing more than 2 or 3 minutes a game.
Something for us to definitely look at, man. Look forward to it. We'll be back here on Mondays. Indiana's next game is against the Terrapins as they'll take on the Maryland. Where is that game? Here at Assembly Hall. Probably. So 8 o'clock game the day after I get back from Tampa. I got to go to the bowl game. We got the bowl game this weekend. Saturday, Indiana taking on Ole Miss in the Outback Bowl in Tampa.
Is Dog Shack Dave driving you down again?
Yeah, that would be good, huh? That would be fun. It's a little bit further trip this time.
Yeah.
I got one of those $200 Spirit Airline trips. A little bit easier. But cannot thank everybody else. Of course, thank Brian Evans. Appreciate you as always, man. Chris Martin, Nathan Finney, the entire Finney Hospitality Group. And, of course, the star of the show, Todd Leary. Guys, I hope you guys have a great night, man. Thank you so much. And thank everybody else for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Last words?
No, great comments. Hey,
good for you, man. I'm excited you're going to the game. That's fun. Indiana football, let's get on board. This is really cool, and maybe it's not the game we thought we'd be in, but this is awesome, and I'm excited you're going down there. I can't wait to talk to you when you get back.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, Brian. Happy holidays, Todd, everybody. We appreciate everybody. You guys have a great night. Let's see, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, so I'll be back on the radio. So wear your mask. Do something nice for somebody. Until tomorrow, I will see you on the radio.
Thanks.
See you, bro.
Thank you.